Hello and welcome to We Poets. My name is Sally Baker and I'm the host of We Poets. We Poets is a poetry show for boys and girls between the ages of 6 and 13 years old. But we've been doing a special series about veterans returning home from the war, and I've been interviewing veterans and interviewing agencies who help veterans readjust back into normal life. Tonight we have two handsome veterans that I'm going to be interviewing. Our first one is Andrew Medina, and our second one is Phillip Leya. I hope I pronounced that right. If not, he'll correct me. So anyway, with our first guest, here we go with Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
How's it going, Sally? Thanks for having me tonight.
Good. I'm so glad you could come.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Now I want you to look right there at camera 3 and tell us your name and what branch of the service you served.
Sure. My name is Andrew Medina, and I served 5 years in the United States Marine Corps, and I'm currently a student at UC Berkeley.
Good.
I'm pursuing a degree in English literature.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And what group did you say you served with?
I was with 2-3 in the Marine Corps, yeah, in the infantry battalion.
And for how many years in what country?
5 years of service, and I've been to Afghanistan 2 times.
Wonderful. Well, that's not wonderful, but
it's wonderful to be here today with you.
Yes,
yeah, thank you.
Yes,
all right.
Yes. Now tell me, was there a public celebration for you when you returned back home?
There was not a public celebration when I came back. However, when we flew in, we flew into a military base, and so there was a military welcoming back with members of the command and family members of service members there waiting for us. But as far as out in the streets or in public goes, no, there wasn't.
No. Well, that's kind of too bad. I think after you guys have served that you should have been welcomed home with a group of people, you know. Now, what was the biggest challenges that you had readjusting back into family life?
I guess it was just a different pace. There were, the operational tempo overseas, you know, is pretty intense. You stay really busy and you always have a mission, and there's this sense of purpose that when you come home, your lifestyle lacks. It's just kind of hard to get used to doing nothing and not carrying a gun and not being on the defensive all the time. So that was probably the biggest transitional difference that I faced, was just relaxing. It was hard to relax.
Now, you said when you came back home, it was kind of difficult to readjust. Did you go out and meet with your older friends that you'd had before you went into the military?
Mostly I just continued to hang out with fellow service members. And it's not that I couldn't, you know, pick up where I left off with my older friends before the military. It was just that it was more of a geographical issue. Being stationed in Hawaii and growing up in the Bay Area, it just was, you know, made things difficult. But when I did come home to visit my family here in the Bay Area, I did reconnect with a couple friends, and we picked up where we left off as far as our friendships go, which was nice. So.
But did you find it more relaxing and comfortable to be with veterans rather than people who had never been in the military?
I wouldn't say relaxing or comfortable, but I would just say that with other veterans, there's a level of understanding that we both share that me and, you know, even good friends from high school are always going to lack, because despite the fact we've had a relationship for so many years, there's a lack of that common experience that has brought me really close to my fellow veterans.
So did you immediately want to go to college?
After I got out of the military?
Yes.
Yes, I was looking forward to it.
So which college did you decide on?
I'm a transfer student, so I went to a community college here in the Bay Area, Diablo Valley College in Pleasant Hill. And it was great, had a great time there, and I was well prepared to transfer here to UC Berkeley. And this was the only school, UC Berkeley was the only school I wanted to transfer to. And so I'm doing what I want to do, where I want to be, and life is pretty good right now.
Could you tell us the steps that you had to take to transfer to Berkeley and about the group that you're involved with here at UC Berkeley?
Sure, just being mindful of taking courses that would be recognized and would I'd get credits for at UC Berkeley was something that I was conscious of as soon as I started attending community college. I think a lot of students, they go to community college and they have an intent to transfer, however they don't really do what they need to do to ensure that they transfer quickly and efficiently. So I stayed focused and only took courses that would advance me towards my goal of coming to UC Berkeley And that's what I ended up doing. As far as the group here on campus that we have a group on campus for veterans. It's called Cal Veterans Group, also known as Cal Vets for short. And I'm currently the elected president serving this semester. We have a little bit over 300 students on campus that are military veterans. And as far as active members in the group go, I'd say we have a core group of around 30 active members that come out to most of our functions.
Mm-hmm. And tell us, what do the functions consist of and how often do you have them?
It consists of everything from our ongoing and continuous Tuesday and Thursday brown bag lunches where we just get together and have lunch together. Pretty simple, but it's nice and refreshing to take a break from the books and everything else and just sit down for a moment with some friends and catch up and joke around and enjoy our meals together. Mm-hmm. We also do some fundraising. We recently had a fundraiser on Valentine's Day night, and what we did was we auctioned off dates with 12 members to some single ladies out there. We actually raised over $900.
$900?
We raised over $900, yeah.
Wow.
And so half of that money is going to our group, and the other half of that money is going to the National Breast Cancer Coalition Fund.
Wonderful.
So yeah, we also have events where we'll do things off campus, like go to the shooting range together, or go for our runs together. And so we try to keep a diverse, we try to diversify our meetups. So we have events that appeal to different personalities and whatnot. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you have, I'm sure there's more men veterans than there are women veterans in your group, right?
Inherently, yes. But we do have some female veterans that are members of the group. But like you had said, the military in general is numerically male-dominated. And so the fact that we lack in members that are female is just a reflection of that. But the females that we do have in our group, they're great, and they enjoy being a part of the group. And beyond that, I don't want to speak for them, though. But those, those are my observations.
That's
it's nice to have them around.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, being a Marine, were you injured while you were in the
I was
battle?
not. Fortunately, I was not.
Were any of your friends injured or killed?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Could you briefly maybe touch on that?
As far as what happened to them, or as far as how that affected me? Or
yes, how it affected you.
You know, it's unfortunate to say the least, and you know, it's something that's going to trouble me in the back of my mind probably for the rest of my life, because it's just not right. You know, they're young guys, and they had a whole life ahead of them, and you know, their families, some of them are married with kids. Yes. And you know, it hurts that that's the reality of the situation. That's the reality of the world we live in. But they were doing what they wanted to do. They were, you know, living their dreams, trying to make a difference in the world, and that's the cost of freedom. Yes, yes. Did you learn to speak Arabic? I learned some phrases in Pashto and Dari, but I did not learn Arabic, and now I've forgotten the phrases. But it was basically just things that would be necessary for me to know, to give verbal commands to some of the locals and stuff like that. Good. Now, is there anything else you would like to put out to our watching audience, perhaps that I didn't ask you? Well, since the show is We Poets, just all the poets out there, keep on writing. That's all I got to say. Keep on writing. Keep that pencil moving. Get your thoughts down on paper and follow your dreams. Now, when you were in the military, did you write? I did a little bit of writing when time permitted. What did you write about? My experiences, to a certain degree, my dreams, love, war, typical stuff. Nothing too innovative, really. Did you write much to your family and friends back home? Yeah, that was a big help, because there's no real entertainment out there. I can imagine. And yeah, so getting mail was like always fun to hear, you know, how things are going back home. And in this day and age, it's kind of infrequent that friends write letters to each other longhand. It's more texting while driving, hopefully not, and cell phones and Facebook. So to receive a well thought out, well written long letter, it's more sentimental, it's more personal, and it's refreshing. And so being overseas provided the opportunity to engage in that activity, sending letters back and forth to loved ones and family members and friends. And so that's one thing that I really appreciated about being overseas. Good. Now, what do you hope to accomplish in the near future for your life? In the near future, just continue my studies at UC Berkeley, and after I graduate, find a job here in the Bay Area, hopefully teaching, and continue writing.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much. We're going to hear from you the second half of the program before we end our show.
All right.
But thank you so much, and I appreciate your serving, and I'm glad you came back safe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're coming back with our second guest. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to the second half of Battlefield Poets. I would now like to introduce you to my second veteran, and his name is Phillip Leya, and he is a veteran, and he's going to tell us all about himself. Hi, Phil.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Look right there at the camera, and tell us what country you served in, and what branch, and for how long, please.
All right, I was in the Army for 4 years, and I served in Afghanistan. I was an infantryman.
Did you learn to speak Arabic?
No, I didn't. I learned a little bit of Pashto and Dari, but nothing other than how to say hello and, you know, when you're working at the gate, how to tell people how to do certain things. So.
And did you see much combat?
Yes, I did.
Were you injured?
No, I wasn't.
Were any of your buddies injured or killed?
Yes, unfortunately, I had one friend who was killed, and since, you know, my unit has gone back, and there have been a few who have been killed and a few wounded as well, yes.
And I'm sure that's very tragic to see your loved ones and buddies killed.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So I'm glad you're back. And tell us, when you came back, was there a public celebration for you?
Well, it was more of a private celebration because we flew into an air base, and so what they did is they invited the families of the service members to come out, and they had the band come from the base, and so they played the national anthem, and it was actually really nice.
Good. And what state are you from?
I'm originally from California. I was stationed in North Carolina.
In North Carolina. How did you like North Carolina?
It was okay. It's not as nice as California.
Good. Now, what were the biggest challenges that you had readjusting back into family life?
Well, when you get out of the military, there's a certain adjustment that you have to make in order to interact with civilians. And the difficult thing is, people take life a lot more lightly, as you could imagine.
Yes.
And so sometimes you kind of have to just sit back and, you know, just kind of take life a little bit more lightly and not as much as intensely as you would in the military, or be so aware, so vigilant all the time.
So did your friends come, like, to invite you for dinner or to go out for drinks, or
my civilian friends? Or?
Yes, your civilian friends.
Yes, they did. They were very welcoming. They helped me out with the transition. Luckily, I had many friends to speak with. Of course, they're never as much of a help as my military friends are, because they share the same experiences.
Yes.
They have experienced what I've experienced.
Yes.
But my civilian friends and family were very understanding and helped me through the process of coming back and living as a civilian.
Good. Now, did you have a physical injury?
No, I did not. I didn't. No. Nothing more than, you know, your knees get a little sore after jumping out of airplanes for a while, or your back gets hurt after road marching for a while, but nothing, you know, I wasn't wounded by shrapnel or shot or anything like that.
So you didn't have any bad dreams or have to take medication?
Well, as far as as far as mental injuries, I have had to see psychologists, you know, just for the experiences.
Yes.
But that's more of a precautionary measure. They just want to make sure that men and women who've served in combat have the necessary treatment when they get back.
Right.
It's more of a preventative measure.
Last week I had a psychiatrist come on, and she talked about how, you know, some of the veterans do seek counseling, and others don't, because they think that if you seek mental counseling, it's you know, people kind of frown on that, but
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And that's a big thing in the infantry. They teach you this certain mentality, like you've got to be tough, and you can't let you know, anything get to you, especially if it's having to do with mental health. And so a lot of men and women who come back refrain from going to see doctors about their mental health because they're afraid it'll make them look weak.
That's right. Yes. Let's see here. And how has the VA helped you to readjust back into normal life?
Well, getting me involved in the services, or I should say, giving me the opportunity to speak with mental health professionals. You know, I don't always need them, but they're there if you need when them. I do need them. Exactly. And so the fact that I have somebody to speak with in case I have any troubles with my mental health, that's really helpful. That's how the VA's helped me out.
Oh, that's great. Now tell us about going to Cal.
Well,
how you got entered into UC Berkeley?
Well, I'm a transfer student.
Oh.
And so I originally went to Modesto Junior College. And initially I was going to go to CSU Stanislaus or Fresno State right there in the valley. But then I realized some of the opportunities that were, that I could, you know, become involved with or get into coming into Berkeley, for example. And so I took advantage of that, and the GI Bill benefits have been helping me out with that as well.
Good. Now tell us about the group here at Cal, how often you meet and some of the things you do.
Well, the Cal Veterans Group meets once a month. That's just a formal meeting, but we have a lot of certain activities that we like to do, including, you know, going out to the range and shooting together. It's just a good way to, to build up camaraderie.
Oh. Now, when you say going to the range, you mean shooting real guns?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Where is this range?
Well, there's a local one outside of Oakland in the hills.
Really? Oh.
And it's very safe. They have range control. They make sure that you have your weapon pointed in the right direction and things of, you know, that nature.
Wow.
So.
And about how many of you go?
Well, the last turnout was pretty small. I think we had 4 or 5 people there.
Oh, so not too many go.
No, and that just has to do with the planning. You know, we kind of came up with it at the last minute, and then we just told people about it, and so considering that, it was a relatively good turnout.
Tell me, did you have much contact with women veterans while you were serving overseas?
Oh, no, I didn't, as a matter of fact, because most combat units in the military are all men. Yes. Now, I know recent legislation has kind of changed that a bit.
Right.
But when I served, I was in from 2004 until 2008.
Oh.
And so being in the infantry was a job at that point for all men, which I believe it still is. But so I didn't have any interaction with women, really. Every once in a while, we would see one from a different type of job. But mostly it was men. I just worked with men.
Now, is there anything else you would like to put out to veterans watching our program and people who aren't veterans?
The only thing I really have to say is that if you served in a combat unit, then you should really seek mental or help with your mental health. You know, if there are any issues, because like I mentioned, a lot of veterans who are in combat have that mentality that they can't go and seek help because it makes them weak, and that's just not true.
How about the veterans you think that are married and sometimes they have problems, you know, with their wives or with their children, and about how many of them do you think commit suicide?
Well, it kind of goes the same way as far as married individuals. You know, there is help out there, everything from marriage counselors to like the mental health professionals I was speaking about, who, you know, could help out in that manner.
Now, are there any upcoming events with your group there at Cal that you would like to tell the veterans about?
Sure. For the veterans at Cal, coming up in March, actually, this is for prospective transfer students.
I see.
So anybody at California Community College can come out to an event that we're having on March 2nd at 6 p.m. It's at room 100 in the Cesar E. Chavez Center at UC Berkeley, and we're just going to have transfer students come on and just ask questions to the veterans, basically. And each Cal veteran that's going to speak is going to give a little bit of background and how they got into Cal, and then we're going to open it up to a Q&A and hopefully answer questions that prospective students have that want to come to Cal.
Great. Now, do you ever need volunteers to come and help with any of your activities?
Well, we don't have any at the moment in which we need volunteers. We usually get enough people from the group itself that can, you know, go out and get the activities done, basically.
Oh, that's good. Now, is there anything else you'd like to put out that perhaps that I didn't ask here, or? Not really, just that, you know, if you're a California Community College student, you can get into Berkeley regardless of what people say. It's a great school, and they have high standards, but that doesn't mean that you can't get in just because of certain dogmas that are out there, you know. And what do you hope for your future? What are you going to major in? Well, I'm an English major. Oh, an English major too. Good. I originally wanted to just go out and be a journalist. Oh. I think that would be a fun job, but right now I'm trying to get into law school. So. Into law school? Yes. Oh, that'll be great. Wonderful. Do you like to write poetry? Yeah, sometimes I do. Did you write while you were in the service? Not really. Not until I got out. Not until you got out. And then what did you write about? What were the topics?
Well, I would usually write about my experiences with the Afghan people, with interacting with Afghans, and what it was like there in the, in the country, and with the type of foods that they eat, and what the language sounds like, and what the terrain looks like, just things like that.
Were you able to take pictures while you were there?
Yes, I have a lot of pictures.
Good.
Some of my buddies, some of people I met, some of interpreters, others just of the terrain, of the countryside there. It's
What's
really
it like?
It's very mountainous, and there's not a lot of grass or vegetation or anything like that.
So you missed that.
I did. I missed the clean-cut lawns and,
and flowers.
And fresh fruit. Yeah.
What kind of fruits did they have?
I don't recall, to be honest. I don't remember there being any fruit.
What did you guys eat?
Yeah, I know. Whenever we ate with the locals, it was usually rice and chicken, if we were lucky.
Right.
And sometimes goat.
Goat? Ooh,
yes,
what does goat taste like?
It tastes like lamb.
Like lamb,
It's a little tougher, but it tastes like lamb, yeah.
Did you drink milk while you were there?
No, I didn't.
No milk.
And that, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much. We're going to have our other veteran come on before we have our grand finale, but I want to thank you so much, and I'm so glad you came back safely.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to have our other veteran come on, and then we're going to do our grand finale. We'll be back in just a moment. And now, before we end our program, our two veterans are going to give us some parting words. So I'm going to start with Phillip first, and he's going to tell us what his duties are with this group that he's involved with here at the University of California, Berkeley.
Well, the title of my position is the Philanthropy Chair, which basically means I'm in charge of the community outreach for the organization, well, I should say the group. And basically what I do is I contact community colleges and I make sure that the students are aware of the programs at UC Berkeley, and we try to help them out, let them know that if they really want to, they can come to a school like Berkeley. And one of the schools that I work closely with, or one that I've worked with recently, is City College of San Francisco. And the reason why is because they have a student veteran population of about 1,300 students, which is a really large number for a community college or any school for that matter. And one thing I've done recently is I've gone to one of their meetings and I've spoken with some of the veterans there and kind of gotten them in touch with our programs. And so, you know, we had planned on having some of them out to come shoot at the range with us. And so, yeah, we just really want to get them into the loop and make sure that they know that they can come to Cal if they really want to.
Good, okay, thank you. And now, Andrew, could you tell us, how did the military change your life?
Yeah, sure. When people ask me that, I usually respond with telling them that the Marine Corps saved my life, because in high school I just wasn't ready for college. I lacked direction, I lacked discipline, and I came out of the Marine Corps a better person. I had more experience, a better skill set to apply to any situation, such as college. You know, I had the discipline to study, to show up to class every day. I took things more seriously, and if I could do it all over again, I most certainly would, regardless of the outcome, because I came out a better person.
Oh, that's great. Now, did you live in the dormitory, or did you live off campus when you were going to college?
I was living at home in community college, and now I live out in town in a studio while I'm attending UC Berkeley. After living in the barracks with anywhere from 1 to 30 other guys in a room, you know, I appreciate my solitude. So
yeah, it's real nice to have your own place, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, because I suppose when you're cramped all together with a whole lot of guys and everybody has different
40 guys
ways
in
of
a
living.
tent or something.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Anything else you'd like to impart to our audience?
That's it. Just stay in school and follow your dreams and appreciate every day you have on this earth, because you never know when, you know, what day you'll wake up and that'll be your last. So enjoy yourselves, take care of each other, love your families, and fight the good fight. Well,
thank you guys. I want to thank you both for going and serving our country and keeping us free and to keep other people free. And this is a good program. You guys did a wonderful job. You look very handsome, and I hope
I wanted to impress you.
And I hope when you guys have another function at UC Berkeley that you'll invite us and invite our interns to come too.
I certainly will.
Okay.
I promise. I certainly will.
Well, let's all say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.